Listen to me. You don't just stumble into the right partner. You are positioned for them. The right person is not just someone you choose. They are someone you are prepared for. You can't step into the fullness of the right relationship until you step into the fullness of who you are meant to be. Some of you are out here searching, chasing, forcing, crying, wondering why it's not working. But what if I told you God is not late? What if I told you He's not withholding from you? What if I told you the delay is divine? Because the right partner is not just about finding, it's about becoming. You cannot expect to receive what you are not prepared to handle. Many people are praying for the right partner, asking for a relationship that will be fulfilling, strong, and blessed, but they have not yet become the person who can sustain what they are asking for. You see, a relationship is not just about two people coming together. It is about two individuals who have been prepared for one another. And preparation is not just about waiting, it is about becoming. If you want a partner who is faithful, are you yourself walking in faithfulness? If you desire someone who is patient and kind, have you developed the capacity to love without conditions? If you are seeking a person who is strong in character, are you tending to your own integrity? So many times we look outward, searching for someone who checks all the boxes, but we fail to turn inward and ask, am I ready to be the partner I am praying for? Preparation is not passive. It is not about simply sitting back and saying, one day the right person will come along. No, it is about actively becoming the right person in the meantime. It is about developing emotional stability, learning to communicate with wisdom, healing from past wounds, and stepping into the fullness of who you are created to be. Because hear me, the right relationship is not a shortcut to wholeness. It is a reflection of it. Some of you are frustrated because it seems like the right person isn't coming, but could it be that the delay is divine? Could it be that the waiting season is actually the preparing season? A strong foundation must be laid before a house can be built. A tree must have deep roots before it can bear fruit. And a person must be established in their identity before they can unite with another. Many people enter relationships without ever dealing with their own baggage. They carry wounds from past experiences, insecurities, fears, and unresolved pain. And instead of seeing their partner as a blessing, they make them a bandage, some to cover up what they have not yet healed from. But a relationship is not meant to complete you. It is meant to complement what has already been made whole. Two broken pieces do not create a whole unit. They create more brokenness. This is why preparation is so crucial. Before you can step into a relationship that is truly aligned with purpose, you must first do the inner work. So let me tell you this. If you are in a season of singleness, do not waste it. Do not despise it. Do not see it as a punishment or a delay. See it as a time of divine preparation. Ask yourself, what areas of my life need growth? What areas of my heart need healing? What disciplines am I developing? What lessons am I learning? Because if you prepare well, when the right partner comes, you will be ready not just to receive them, but to build something strong with them. A partnership rooted in destiny is not about just falling in love. It is about growing in love. And that growth starts before you ever meet the person. It starts with you. Right timing, not just the right person. Many of us have become obsessed with the idea that finding the right partner is the ultimate goal, that it's the solution to all our loneliness, our struggles, and our desires. And yes, while having the right person beside you can bring great joy and fulfillment, let me remind you that timing is just as important as the person themselves. Too many people rush into relationships chasing after what seems right at the moment and then wonder why things fall apart. But what if I told you that the timing of your relationship is just as important as the person you are with? We can be so quick to think that we are ready for love, and sometimes we are, but sometimes we are not. And what you have to understand is that God doesn't just pair you with the right person, He also pairs you with the right season. That means sometimes the delay is for your protection. The delay is not a punishment, it's preparation. It's easy to get discouraged when things don't happen on your timeline, but remember this, God's timing is always perfect. He knows what you need, when you need it, and He knows what will come in your life at just the right moment. So often we look at the clock and get impatient. We look around and compare ourselves to others, seeing people get married, having children, living the life we think we want, and we feel like we're being left behind. But let me tell you something, God is never late. He is always on time, and He is never in a rush. The reason some relationships fail is not because the two people aren't right for each other, but because the timing was off. You can meet the right person, but if you're not in the right place emotionally, mentally, or spiritually, you will miss the connection. If you haven't yet matured into who God has called you to be, then even the best partner can't carry you to where you need to go. Relationships aren't just about the people involved. They are about timing and preparation. Sometimes we can't see what's ahead of us because we're so focused on what we think we want right now. We look at the person who seems like they would be perfect and get ahead of God trying to make things happen on our own. But if you rush into something too soon, you risk not allowing the relationship to mature in the way it was meant to. The timing isn't just about when you meet. It's about when you are both ready to walk together, when both people are ready to embrace each other fully without expecting the other to complete them. The beauty of divine timing is that it doesn't just give you the right person, it gives you the right person at the right time. When God brings two people together, it's not just about them meeting, but about them meeting at the point when they are both able to grow together in a way that honors His purpose for their lives. So trust the process, trust the waiting, trust the moments when it feels like nothing is happening. It may feel like you are stuck, but what God is really doing is preparing you for what is coming. When the timing is right, everything falls into place. You don't have to force it. You don't have to chase it. You don't have to scramble for it. It will come. And it will come with the right person in the right season at the right moment. So let go of the pressure. Let go of the frustration. Know that while you may not see the whole picture right now, God sees it all. And He's working behind the scenes, putting the pieces together in His perfect time. We live in a world that teaches us to follow our desires, to chase after what looks good, feels good, and satisfies our temporary needs. We make lists of what we want in a partner, focusing on physical traits, personality types, or status markers. We get so caught up in our preferences that we forget the true foundation of a lasting relationship: purpose. You see, the right partner is not simply someone who matches your preferences, but someone who aligns with the purpose God has placed on your life. God doesn't just bring someone into your life to fulfill a list of traits. He brings someone who will walk alongside you in fulfilling His plan for you. And the truth is, your preferences can often cloud your vision of purpose. You can be so fixated on finding someone who ticks every box on your superficial list that you miss the person God has designed for you. Someone who may not look or act exactly as you imagine, but who is the perfect fit for the journey He has ordained. The danger of focusing on preferences is that it keeps you looking for a person who matches what you think you want, rather than someone who is aligned with what God has already prepared for you. Too often we want the perfect image. Someone who is attractive in a certain way, someone who fits into our social circle, someone who shares our likes and dislikes. But these things don't create a lasting foundation. They are fleeting based on external qualities that can change. What truly sustains a relationship over time is a shared sense of purpose, two people working toward a common vision driven by a higher calling. When you prioritize purpose over preference, you understand that God's plans for your life are bigger than your desires. Your partner isn't just someone to share your happiness with. They are someone who will help you fulfill the divine calling on your life. The right person will encourage you to grow, push you to be better, and stand with you as you walk in the direction that God has set before you. Many people enter relationships thinking about the temporary, about what makes them feel good in the moment, only to realize that this foundation is not enough to carry them through the challenges that will come. The real strength of a relationship is found in the long haul, when both individuals understand their shared purpose and are committed to building something greater than themselves. This purpose might not always be clear from the start, but it will reveal itself over time as you both grow together, united in vision and mission. When you focus on purpose, you understand that love is not just about what you get, but what you are called to give. You become less concerned with what you want out of the relationship and more focused on how you can both contribute to one another's growth and fulfillment in the eyes of God. Your partnership becomes a partnership in purpose, working together to accomplish what you were each uniquely created for. God's way of pairing you with the right partner is always about a deeper alignment, a deeper connection that goes beyond the surface. If we were to be honest with ourselves, many times we have tried to create relationships based on the wrong reasons, following the culture of instant gratification, attraction, and even comfort. But the right partner is not someone who simply makes you feel comfortable. They are someone who challenges you, encourages you to rise to your fullest potential, and walks beside you as you walk in the purpose God has placed in your heart. And let me be clear, when you begin to prioritize purpose over preference, you stop settling. You stop allowing fear, insecurity, or loneliness to make decisions for you. You stop believing that your partner needs to look a certain way or come from a certain background. Instead, you place your trust in the divine guidance that is leading you to the one who is truly meant for you. You recognize that your calling is too important to settle for less than God's best. The right partner, the one aligned with your purpose, won't just support your dreams. They'll challenge and inspire you to make those dreams a reality. They will be your teammate in the greatest adventure of your life, not someone who simply fills a role in your comfort zone. So let go of the idea of perfection and let God bring you someone who complements your purpose, because that's where true, lasting fulfillment is found. The right partner won't just meet your preferences. They'll elevate your life in ways you never thought possible. They will help you fulfill the greater plan that God has set before you, and that is something far greater than any list of traits could ever capture. Sometimes God will allow certain relationships to end or distance to grow between you and the people you once thought you couldn't live without. You might feel the pain of separation or even feel betrayed, confused, or abandoned. It may seem like you are losing something valuable, and in some cases it feels like you're losing everything. But I want you to understand this. In God's divine plan, separation is often a prerequisite for your elevation. Before you can rise to the place God has prepared for you, there are certain relationships, environments, and attachments that need to be removed from your life, not because they were necessarily bad, but because they are no longer aligned with where you are going. God knows that your destiny requires space to grow, and sometimes that space is created through separation. Think about it. When a seed is planted in the ground, it needs it needs time to develop and grow into the fullness of what it's meant to be. But sometimes, in order for that seed to grow, it must be separated from everything else around it. The nutrients must be concentrated on that seed, and if there are too many distractions or competing influences, it can't grow to its fullest potential. God operates in the same way. There are times when He will remove people, situations, or seasons from your life to create space for your growth, your healing, and your elevation. For many, the most painful part of this process is not the physical separation itself, but the emotional and spiritual detachment. We hold on to relationships that have outlived their purpose because we're afraid of the void they leave. But hear me when I say this. When God separates you from someone or something, He is not punishing you. He is protecting you. He knows what you need, and He understands that there are some people and situations that will only hold you back from becoming who He has destined you to be. Sometimes the people you are closest to, the ones you love and care about deeply, can unknowingly become obstacles to your elevation. They may not be bad people, but their presence in your life may be limiting your ability to grow in the ways God needs you to grow. Their influence may cause you to settle for less than what you are called to do, or their approval may become more important than God's plan for you. These relationships can begin to shape the way you think, act, and move in ways that prevent you from stepping into your true calling. The pain of separation often feels like loss, but it is actually the beginning of your greatest breakthrough. You may not understand it in the moment, but when you look back, you will see that the space created by that separation was the fertile ground needed for you to step into your next level of purpose. If you are always surrounded by people who are not moving in the same direction as you, it is hard to move forward yourself. But when God removes those distractions, He is giving you the room to run the race set before you. Let me be clear, this separation does not mean you are alone. God is not isolating you in a way that leaves you abandoned. No, He is positioning you. He is preparing you. The people He has designed for you to be in partnership with are coming. But first, you must be separated from the things that would prevent you from receiving what He has in store for you. In those moments when it feels like doors are closing, when relationships are shifting, when you find yourself standing alone, do not fear. Embrace the separation because it is only temporary. And know that on the other side of that separation is elevation. There is a promotion coming, a breakthrough, a new level of understanding, a deeper connection with the right people. God is doing something in you during the season of separation. He is strengthening you, refining you, and preparing you for what's next. So don't fight the process. Don't try to hold on to the things that God is removing from your life. Trust that His plan is greater than your understanding. His ways are higher, and He sees the full picture. The relationships, the people, the circumstances that you thought were permanent will fade away, and what will remain is the strength, wisdom, and clarity you have gained from trusting God in the midst of it all. When you are elevated, you will look back and see that every painful separation was a necessary part of your journey toward the fulfillment of your purpose. In a world where we are trained to seek immediate results and instant gratification, patience often feels like a distant, impossible virtue. We live in a society that thrives on speed. The faster we can get things, the better we think our lives will be. From fast food to social media, we become accustomed to having what we want when we want it. But when it comes to relationships and the pursuit of a meaningful partnership, this impatience can lead us into trouble. Patience is not simply a passive waiting game. It is an active and intentional trust in God's timing, and it is one of the most powerful tools you have in the process of discovering the right partner. The problem with impatience in relationships is that it often leads us to settle. We get frustrated by the waiting, and rather than trusting in God's perfect timing, we begin to force things to happen on our terms. We begin to look for love in all the wrong places, and instead of allowing the right person to come into our lives at the right time, we end up with someone who is just good enough for now. But listen to me, settling for just enough will never bring you the fulfillment that you desire. What you need is a partner who aligns with your purpose, a partner who complements your life's mission, and that person will come at the right time, not the time you force. Patience requires trust. It requires a deep belief that what God has for you is worth the wait. But trusting in God's timing doesn't mean that you are doing nothing. Patience is not sitting idly by while life passes you by. Patience is actively positioning yourself for the blessing that is coming. It is about preparing your heart, your mind, and your life for the kind of relationship that God is going to bring to you. Patience is about trusting that the right partner is not being withheld from you, but is being prepared for you. God knows exactly when and where you need to meet that person, and He knows that if you trust Him, He will lead you to them at the right time. The process of waiting can be incredibly difficult. There are days when it feels like everyone around you is paired up and you are the only one left standing. There are days when loneliness creeps in and you begin to wonder if something is wrong with you, if maybe God has forgotten about you. But I want to remind you today, God has not forgotten you. He is working behind the scenes, weaving together the perfect circumstances to bring you into the life of the person He has set aside for you. You are not alone in your waiting. You are not invisible. You are being prepared. Just like the partner you are waiting for, there are seasons in life when God needs to work in us before He can bring the right person into our lives. And sometimes the waiting process is as much about becoming the right person as it is about waiting for the right partner. God will use this time to refine you, to heal areas in your heart that need healing, to strengthen you in ways you never thought possible. The patience you develop now will carry you through the challenges of any future relationship. The lessons you learn in the waiting will help you to appreciate the person God is bringing into your life and to value the relationship you share with them. We must also understand that there is a difference between waiting passively and waiting actively. Waiting passively is about being stagnant, doing nothing, and expecting life to just happen for you. But waiting actively is about preparation. It's about using the time to grow, to learn, to become who God has called you to be. It is about becoming the kind of person who is ready to love deeply, to communicate openly, and to walk in purpose alongside the partner that God will send your way. When we rush the process, we often miss out on what God is doing in us. But when we embrace patience, we allow God to complete His work in us, and we position ourselves to receive the full blessing He has for us. Remember that patience is not just about waiting for the right person. It is about becoming the right person in the waiting. It's about being rooted in God's love, finding your fulfillment in Him, and trusting that He knows exactly what you need and when you need it. So let me encourage you today, if you find yourself in a season of waiting, do not grow weary. Trust that the waiting is not a punishment, but a preparation. Trust that what God has for you is so much better than anything you could have forced on your own. Trust that in His perfect timing, He will bring the right person into your life. And together, you will walk in purpose, in love, and in the destiny He has set before you. The power of patience will never fail you. Keep trusting, keep preparing, and know that the waiting is part of the journey to something greater than you could ever imagine. one of the most profound truths about relationships is that the most beautiful partnerships are built on a foundation of healing, not perfection. The reality is, we all come into relationships with baggage, experiences, wounds, disappointments, and scars that have shaped who we are. And as much as we might want to believe that love can heal all, the truth is, love cannot fix what has not been addressed. Many times we enter relationships with unhealed wounds, expecting our partner to be the one to mend them, only to find that our pain complicates the relationship rather than enhancing it. Healing is an essential part of preparation for the right relationship. Before you can fully embrace the partner God has designed for you, you must allow God to heal the parts of you that have been broken, hurt, or left behind. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect before you meet someone, but it does mean that you must not enter into a relationship with the expectation that someone else will fix what only God can heal. You cannot bring your hurt into a relationship and expect your partner to do all the work. You cannot demand from someone what they were never intended to give. Wholeness. That is a process that only God can complete in you. It's easy to think that healing means just putting a bandage on your wounds, masking the hurt, and moving forward as though everything is fine. But true healing is deep, it's painful, it requires time, self-reflection, and sometimes the courage to face the parts of ourselves that we would rather ignore, the parts that make us feel weak, unworthy, or afraid. But the beauty of God's healing is that He does not leave us in that place of pain. He walks with us through the process, providing the grace, strength, and peace we need to become whole again. When we are healed, we are able to enter into a relationship from a place of strength, not brokenness. Healing allows us to love without expectations, to give without needing something in return, and to partner with someone in building something beautiful and lasting. But healing also requires vulnerability. It requires us to let go of the things we've been holding on to, the fears, the walls, the lies we've told ourselves. It means allowing God to work in the deep places of our hearts, to restore what has been lost, and to rebuild what was once shattered. Many people rush into relationships before they've allowed themselves to fully heal from past hurts. They carry unresolved pain from old relationships, broken families, or traumatic experiences. And they hope that love will somehow take away the sting. But what happens is that they end up carrying that pain into the new relationship. And it affects everything, the way they communicate, the way they love, the way they trust. You can't build a healthy relationship on unhealthy foundations. And the longer you wait to heal, the harder it becomes to build a healthy, lasting partnership. This is why the process of healing before wholeness is so crucial. You can't expect someone else to give you what only God can provide. The right partner will come into your life when you are whole, when you have allowed God to heal the wounds that have kept you stuck in pain and fear. You will not settle for less because you know your worth in Christ. And you will not demand from someone else what they cannot give you. Instead, you will enter into the relationship as two whole people, complete in Christ, working together to build something greater than either of you could have alone. Healing also means learning to forgive. Not just others, but yourself. So many people carry guilt and shame for things they've done or things that have been done to them. And these things weigh heavy on the heart. They distort the way you see yourself and make it hard to receive the love that God has for you. But when you allow God to heal those areas of your heart, you are able to forgive, to let go, and to move forward in freedom. You can step into the next season of your life, into the next relationship without dragging the past behind you. God's healing is not only physical, it is emotional, mental, and spiritual. It is a holistic healing that touches every area of your life. The process of becoming whole requires you to confront the pain, to release the hurts, to lay down the past, and to walk forward in God's grace. This is where the power of forgiveness, self-love, and divine healing comes in. When God heals you, He does not just patch you up, He makes you new. And when you are made new, you can approach your future with confidence, knowing that the person God has for you will come alongside you, not to complete you, but to complement the wholeness you already possess. So if you find yourself in a season of healing, do not rush it. Do not try to skip over the hard work that needs to be done. God is doing something in you that will position you for the greatest partnership of your life. The right person is not just someone who will fill the emptiness you feel. They are someone who will walk with you as you grow, as you heal, as you become whole. And when that moment comes, when you are both healed, when you are both walking in your purpose, you will discover the beauty of a partnership that is built not on brokenness, but on strength, wholeness, and love. So often we are quick to judge a situation by what we can see with our eyes, by the immediate circumstances around us. We judge people based on first impressions, and we make decisions based on what seems right in the moment without considering the bigger picture. Our perceptions are shaped by our experiences, our emotions, and our desires. And these perceptions often lead us astray when it comes to the choices we make, especially in relationships. We may look at someone and think they are the perfect partner based on what we can see. But God's way of preparing us for the right relationship is always far deeper than our limited perceptions can comprehend. God doesn't just look at the surface. He sees the heart. He sees beyond the exterior, beyond the way someone looks, speaks, or acts. And he sees the potential, the purpose, and the calling that lies within. We, on the other hand, often make decisions based on surface level characteristics. We focus on physical attraction, personality traits, or the external factors that seem to align with what we want in the moment. But God knows that there is more to a person than what we see at first glance. He knows that the true qualities of a person, the ones that will truly sustain a relationship, are often hidden beneath the surface, waiting for the right time to be revealed. God's preparation for your partner is far different from the way we prepare ourselves. We spend time looking for someone who meets our checklist, someone who matches the picture we've created in our minds of the perfect partner. But God doesn't ask us to look for perfection. He asks us to look for purpose. When he is preparing you for the right partner, he is not just getting you ready to be with someone. He is preparing both of you for a shared purpose that will fulfill the divine plan he has for both of your lives. God's preparation involves molding and shaping both people in the relationship so they can come together and build something greater than themselves. The challenge, however, is that we often don't see the preparation happening. We want things to happen quickly. We want to find the right person now to move forward with our lives and to have everything figured out immediately. But God's timing doesn't work like that. His process of preparation is not rushed, and it's not based on our timelines. It is based on his perfect plan for our lives. When we try to rush things, we can miss the lessons that God is trying to teach us, and we may even settle for something less than what he intended for us. When we allow God to lead the preparation process, we begin to realize that he is not only preparing us for a relationship, but also for the calling that comes with that relationship. He is shaping us to become the person we need to be to step into the future he has planned. He is working on our character, our strength, our patience, and our ability to love unconditionally. But we can't rush this process. We can't skip the difficult parts or bypass the seasons of growth and transformation. We have to trust that God's preparation is just as important as the end result. What we see as delays are often God's way of protecting us from making decisions that we are not yet ready for. He is not holding us back, but rather setting us up for success. In his infinite wisdom, he knows that there are certain qualities and characteristics he needs to develop in us before we can step into the right relationship. And sometimes we must go through seasons of waiting, growth, and even heartbreak before we can fully appreciate and embrace the blessing he is preparing for us. The danger of rushing through the preparation process is that we may end up in a relationship that isn't right for us, one that doesn't align with our purpose or fulfill our calling. We may find ourselves with someone who on the surface seems perfect, but whose heart is not aligned with God's will. This is why it is so crucial to allow God to guide us and to trust that his timing is always better than our own. We need to let go of our own understanding and allow God to work in us and through us to bring about his perfect plan. As God prepares us for the right partner, he also works to prepare the person who will become our partner. We often forget that while we are waiting and growing, the person we are meant to be with is also being prepared. They are going through their own journey, their own season of healing, growth, and refinement. They are becoming the person who will be able to love us in the way we need to be loved, to support us in the ways we need support, and to build a future with us that aligns with God's will. This mutual preparation is what leads to the kind of relationship that can withstand the tests of time. It is not just about finding someone who fits our checklist. It is about finding someone who is equally prepared to walk alongside us in fulfilling the purpose God has set for us. The right partner will be someone who has been through their own process of preparation, someone who understands the value of patience, trust, and growth. They will be someone who has learned the same lessons we have learned, Someone who knows that relationships are not about perfection, but about working together to build a life that honors God. So the next time you feel frustrated because it seems like you're not moving forward in the way you expect, remember that God's preparation is far greater than your perception. His timing is perfect, and His process is designed to set you up for success, not just in your relationship, but in your life. Trust that God is working behind the scenes, preparing both you and your future partner for the divine purpose He has for you both. When you allow God to lead the process, you will step into a relationship that is far greater than anything you could have imagined on your own. Trust His preparation over your perception and watch as He unfolds the perfect plan for your life. God's timing in relationships is something that can be very difficult for us to understand. We live in a world that moves at a fast pace where everything is expected to happen instantly. We have been conditioned to expect things now, whether it's success, love, or even opportunities. But when it comes to relationships and the person God has prepared for you, His timing often defies our understanding. It may not come when you expect it, and it may not unfold the way you imagine, but rest assured, God's timing is always perfect. The struggle with God's timing is that it challenges our need for control. We want to be in charge of the process. We want to plan when and how things happen, and we try to make things work on our own. We meet someone and think, this is it, and we jump in, rushing the process, eager to make it happen on our timeline. But the truth is, God is not bound by our clocks or calendars. His understanding of time is limitless, and He sees the full picture in ways we cannot. While we may look at a situation and think it's the right time for us, God may be using this time to prepare us for something greater. In His perfect wisdom, God knows exactly when we are ready for what He has in store. He understands the depth of our hearts, the level of maturity we need, and the capacity to love and support a partner. When we try to rush God's timing, we often end up prematurely entering relationships that we are not yet prepared for. These relationships may not be harmful, but they can prevent us from stepping into the fullness of what God has designed for us. God knows what we need, and He knows when we are ready to receive the relationship He has for us, and it may not always align with the schedule we've created for ourselves. Waiting on God's timing doesn't mean we are passive or idle in our lives. It doesn't mean that we should simply sit and do nothing, expecting things to magically fall into place. Waiting on God's timing is an active process. It involves trusting that God is at work behind the scenes, even when we can't see it, and taking steps to prepare ourselves for the future He has in store. It means working on our own growth, healing, and understanding of who we are in Him. It means becoming the kind of person who is ready to receive the partner He has prepared for us. The waiting period is never, even when it feels like time is moving slowly, God is preparing both you and your future partner for a relationship that will stand the test of time. He uses the waiting to build character, to strengthen your faith, and to make you into the person who will be able to love fully, deeply, and unconditionally. Trusting in God's timing means letting go of the pressure to make things happen on your own. It means choosing to trust that He is in control and that His plan is better than anything we could ever create. There are times when it seems like everyone around us is finding their partner while we are still waiting. It's easy to feel overlooked, as if God has forgotten about us. But I want to remind you today that God has not forgotten you. His timing is not about keeping you waiting for no reason. It's about setting you up for success, for a future that aligns with His perfect will. When the time is right, when you are both ready, He will bring the right person into your life. And when that happens, you will look back and see that all the waiting, all the seasons of growth were worth it. God's timing is also about His divine protection. Sometimes we want something so badly and we think that we are ready for it, but God, in His infinite wisdom, sees the things we cannot. He knows the people who will hurt us, the situations that will challenge us, and the circumstances that will test us. His timing ensures that we are shielded from things that are not meant for us. He allows us to wait because He is preparing us for something that will not only last, but will fulfill the purpose He has for our lives. His delays are not denials. They are divine protections. Waiting on God's timing means learning to be content in the present moment. It's easy to look ahead and think that we will only be happy when we meet the right person, but God wants us to learn to be content in Him first. Our happiness, our sense of fulfillment should not be dependent on someone else. We must learn to find joy in the present season, trusting that God is doing something in us while we wait. When we learn to be content and joyful in our current season, we are better prepared to enter into a relationship that will complement that joy and bring us closer to His purpose. There will always be moments of doubt. There will always be times when it feels like the waiting is too much and we wonder if the right person will ever come. But I encourage you to hold on to the truth that God is faithful. He is not slow in keeping his promises, and he is always working behind the scenes, even when we don't see it. His timing is never off, and he will never bring you into something that isn't the right fit at the right time. Trust in his plan, trust in his timing, and trust that the future he has for you is beyond anything you could imagine. God's timing may not always make sense to us, but it is always perfect. When we trust in him, when we surrender our timelines to his will, we can rest in the assurance that everything will unfold as it is meant to. And when the right person comes into your life, you will look back and realize that all the waiting, all the lessons learned, all the seasons of growth were worth it. God's timing is a beautiful gift, and when we trust in it, we open ourselves to a future that is beyond our wildest dreams. One of the most powerful truths about relationships is that they are never just about two people coming together. When God pairs you with the right person, the relationship becomes more than just companionship or affection. It becomes about purpose. There is a divine reason behind every relationship, and understanding that purpose is essential for building a lasting, fulfilling partnership. Too often we focus on the superficial aspects of a relationship, the emotional highs, the excitement of being with someone new, or the comfort of knowing that we are not alone. But if we only focus on these surface level things, we miss the greater purpose that God has designed for the relationship. Every relationship, especially the one God has ordained for you, is meant to serve a higher purpose. It is not just about personal fulfillment or having someone to spend time with. It's about fulfilling a mission, serving a purpose that goes beyond the two of you. The right relationship is a partnership in which both people are united in a common goal to glorify God, to fulfill his purpose for their lives, and to build a life together that honors him. The relationship becomes a vessel through which God can work, a foundation upon which you can build something that will outlast your time on this earth. When you begin to understand the purpose of the relationship, everything changes. It shifts the way you view your partner, the way you treat each other, and the way you approach the challenges that come your way. A purpose-driven relationship is built on mutual respect, understanding, and commitment to something greater than yourself. When both partners are aligned with the purpose God has for them, they can move forward with confidence, knowing that their relationship is not just about their happiness, but about serving a divine mission. God pairs you with the right partner to help you fulfill the purpose he has placed within you. Every person has a unique calling, a mission, a dream that God has designed for them. When you enter into a relationship, you must ask yourself, how does this relationship contribute to the fulfillment of that calling? Does your partner support your purpose? Do they encourage you to grow into the person God created you to be? Are they someone who will help you fulfill your mission, or will they distract you from it? When God brings the right partner into your life, they will help propel you toward your purpose, not hold you back. They will encourage your growth, challenge you to become better, and walk beside you as you pursue the calling God has placed on your life. This doesn't mean that everything will always be easy or that there won't be challenges along the way, but it does mean that in the long run, you will be stronger together than you could ever be apart, because you will be united in purpose. The power of a purpose-driven relationship is that it transcends circumstances. When things get tough, when the world throws obstacles in your way, when life gets hard, the purpose of the relationship is what will keep you going. When you know that the two of you are working toward a common goal, when you are both focused on serving a higher calling, the struggles of life don't have the same power to tear you apart. Instead, they become opportunities to strengthen your bond, to work together to overcome challenges, and to trust that God is with you every step of the way. But focusing on purpose doesn't just apply to big external goals. It also applies to the smaller everyday actions within the relationship, the way you love each other, the way you communicate, the way you support each other. All of these things are part of the larger purpose God has for your relationship. A relationship built on purpose is one where both partners are constantly growing, learning, and striving to become the best version of themselves. It's about creating an environment where both people can flourish, where they can support each other in their dreams, and where they can work together to achieve something greater than they could alone. When the focus is on purpose, the relationship becomes less about personal fulfillment and more about serving each other, serving others, and serving God. You will begin to see your partner not just as someone to fulfill your needs or meet your desires, but as someone who is walking alongside you in the fulfillment of God's plan for both of your lives. Your relationship becomes a ministry in itself, a testimony of God's goodness and a reflection of His love. Purpose also helps you to navigate the difficult seasons. In a world that often prioritizes convenience and comfort, it's easy to give up when things aren't going well. But when your relationship is rooted in purpose, you have a deeper motivation to press through. You have a reason to keep fighting for the relationship, to keep investing in each other, and to keep working through the challenges that come your way. The purpose you share will be the anchor that holds you steady in the storm, the light that guides you when the path is unclear. Moreover, purpose brings a sense of direction. Without purpose, a relationship can feel aimless, like you're simply going through the motions without any clear goal in mind. But when you have a shared purpose, you know exactly where you're headed. You can align your actions, your decisions, and your efforts with that purpose, and you can move forward with a sense of clarity and intentionality. Every decision, big or small, is made with the understanding that it is part of a bigger picture, a picture that God has designed for you both to walk in. Purpose also helps to build resilience. When you know that your relationship is not just about surviving the day-to-day, but is part of a greater calling, you begin to approach challenges with a different mindset. You don't see obstacles as insurmountable problems. Instead, you see them as opportunities for growth, opportunities to strengthen your partnership and to build something beautiful and lasting. Ultimately, focusing on the purpose of the relationship allows you to see your partner in a new light. They are not just someone to be loved or cherished. They are someone with whom you are called to walk in partnership with God. The relationship becomes a journey of mutual growth, shared experiences, and a shared commitment to fulfilling God's calling. It's not just about the two of you. It's about the greater mission that God has for your lives and how you can work together to make that mission a reality. When you understand that the purpose of your relationship is greater than just your individual happiness, you begin to experience a love that is deeper, richer, and more fulfilling. You experience a love that is grounded in something eternal, something that goes beyond fleeting emotions or temporary feelings. You experience a love that is driven by purpose. And that is the kind of love that can withstand anything life throws its way. A love that is grounded in purpose is a love that endures. One of the most crucial aspects of being prepared for the right relationship is the refining of your character. Before you can fully step into the partnership that God has for you, He needs to work on your character. This is not just about becoming a better person for the sake of impressing others or fulfilling a checklist of good qualities. It's about becoming the person God has created you to be, the person who will be capable of loving, serving, and committing fully to a relationship that honors Him. Character refinement is a deep, often challenging process that takes time and commitment, but it is essential for the relationship that God wants to bring into your life. In order for a relationship to flourish, both partners must be strong, not only in their love for each other, but also in their individual character. God doesn't just want you to be in a relationship. He wants you to be in a relationship that aligns with His purpose for your life. He wants to refine your character so that you can love, lead, and serve your partner in a way that reflects His love. Sometimes we focus so much on finding the right person that we forget to focus on becoming the right person. We want to be loved and accepted, but the real work lies in ensuring that we are ready to give the kind of love that God requires. This refining process involves a number of key character traits that God works on in us. It involves learning how to love unconditionally, to forgive when it's difficult, to be patient when things aren't moving as quickly as we want, and to grow in humility and self-control. It's easy to love when everything is going well, but God is concerned with how we respond in times of trial and challenge. He uses these moments to test and refine us, to help us grow in the areas of our character that will allow us to love more fully. When God begins to refine your character, He starts by revealing areas in your life that need healing. This might be areas where you've been hurt in the past, areas where you've carried wounds that have not been fully addressed. You might find yourself facing old emotions or painful memories that need to be dealt with before you can fully step into the future God has for you. Healing is an important part of the process because God knows that you can't fully give to someone else until you've allowed Him to heal the brokenness within you. Healing doesn't mean that you forget about your past or pretend that it didn't happen. It means allowing God to restore what was broken, to mend the parts of you that were hurt so that you can enter into a relationship with a whole heart. God will also refine your ability to love selflessly. In a world that is often focused on self-love and self-care, God calls us to love others in a way that goes beyond our own needs and desires. Selfless love means choosing to prioritize your partner's needs above your own, even when it's not easy. It means choosing to put their well-being first, even when it requires sacrifice. It's about learning to love in a way that reflects the love of Christ, who gave everything for us. This kind of love is not natural or easy, but it's what makes a relationship strong, lasting, and fulfilling. Self-control is another important area that God works on in us as He refines our character. In relationships, there will be times when emotions run high, when disagreements occur, or when the temptation to act impulsively is strong. God's refining work teaches us to control our impulses, to think before we speak or act, and to respond in a way that honors both God and our partner. Self-control is a fruit of the Spirit, and it's essential for building a healthy, sustainable relationship. It's easy to let emotions take control, but God calls us to have the discipline to respond in love even when it's hard. Patience is another key trait that God works on as He refines our character.